going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. I'm joined by Matt, my co-host, and we are thrilled to be joined by Drea Blackwell of KSBW. Drea, thank you for joining. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to get right into it. My first question for you, Drea, is obviously prior to the draft, we heard nothing but Mac Jones. Colin Cowherd, I don't know if you watch his show, The Herd, but he recently awarded the Niners the San Fran seal. He kind of created it because there were no leaks, and it was kind of astonishing how the 49ers, based off all that, everybody thought for sure it's Mac Jones. It wasn't, and it was Trey Lance, and nobody knew. How impressive is that in today's era of everybody having a source, everybody fishing for info, that they were able to do that without it getting out at all?
I want a 30 for 30 done on what happened in that month leading up to the draft, because the amount of just assuredness, the amount of, certainty that all of these big name people in, NFL media had, it is incredible that after all that, then we have Trey Lance being selected with the 3rd overall pick and not Mac Jones. That's funny that Cowherd did that. That's a good way of looking at it. I think what it really boils down to, and I know from the fans' perspective, we were seeing a lot of people saying, the Niners don't leak. And so I had this impending doom in my head of thinking, oh my gosh, what if my team does leak? And it's all going to come crashing down on me at once. But they don't. And I think what it really reveals is the relationship between John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, the faith that they have in each other, that those two can get this done, and the decision to not bring in the assistant coaches, not bring in the scouts, and to let them give their honest opinions on all of these different players, I think was clearly the best way to handle it, and clearly threw people off the scent of it being Trey Lance. So I think it's a big credit to Shanahan and Lynch and the relationship that they have, but also their understanding of how the media works. And John Lynch has, dabbled in that industry as well. Kyle has the benefit of watching his dad go through all of this. I know it's pre-social media, but in terms of having coaches leak information, I'm sure he's seen everything through his dad. And so I think there's a couple of choices being made there that are very clearly influenced by Shanahan, Lynch, and what they want to do in the front office.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to that point, when we talk about the team doesn't have leaks, nobody saw the trade coming. Everybody said, well, it's Mac Jones, even though the team doesn't have leaks. And why was that? Because he's a Kyle Shanahan guy. And we saw they went Trey Lance. But there seems to be this lingering feeling that Kyle, the story was, Kyle had to be convinced that it was Trey Lance was the guy, even though you hear John Lynch coming out and saying, no, we knew pretty early on that it was Trey Lance. Why is there this narrative, despite there being no leaks, that people can't let go of, that Kyle Shanahan has this like Kirk Cousins type, even in the face of all other evidence?
It's got to just be doubling down, right? It's got to be this discomfort with having been wrong, which I know is going to be harder for some people to accept than others. I believe, and maybe I'm the naive one, I believe Shanahan and Lynch when they say that Trey Lance was the front runner back in January.
Me too.
As more information came out, he had his pro day. I believe Adam Peters was there for that initial pro day. You get good word back and you make the trade and do all of these things. I don't know why people are so resistant to just accepting the fact of, they got us. And this narrative that Shanahan has a type, that has driven me crazy the whole time, because I just want to get the timeline correct of sure, Matt Ryan turned him into an MVP. He's already a good quarterback and then had the best season of his career. But that's not like Kyle drafted Matt Ryan. He was the offensive coordinator. He got there well into Matt Ryan's career. Kirk Cousins, I understand the relationship between his dad and RG3 and all of those different things. But a lot of the quarterbacks that people are hyping up as Kyle's type and then making the equation with Mac Jones, it's circumstantial. It's circumstantial. And that doesn't mean that Kyle can't evolve either. That doesn't mean that he can't see something in Trey or in Justin Fields or any of these more dual threat quarterbacks or more mobile quarterbacks, I should say, that doesn't intrigue him. So,
Yeah.
The idea that he should have a type and it's Kirk Cousins, and for the rest of time it will be Kirk Cousins, is silly.
Do you think that the reports that he and his dad didn't want RG3 kind of paint that narrative further? Because I do think that might play a part, that people look at that and go, well, RG3 was really good his rookie year. Why wouldn't they want a guy like that? And they see what he's had to work with. In the grand scheme of things, Kyle has really drafted CJ Beathard, and that's it.
Right.
But do you think that the lack of valuation that they had in RG3 and them liking Kirk Cousins played a part in that?
Well, yeah, because then there's the whole talk of Dan Snyder wanted RG3 and the Shanahans wanted Kirk Cousins, or they basically, what do you call it, where they hedged their bet and drafted Kirk Cousins in that same draft. And so that's probably part of it. But then the interesting thing with RG3 is I think a lot of that situation is just not very well known. As it was happening, you have the rookie of the year. He did play outstanding, and then it all just kind of fell apart with the injury. And we heard there was some tension, but not exactly what. And then what I thought was interesting, I don't know if you saw, RG3 was doing some work with Bleacher Report during the draft, and he made a comment that he would be the perfect person to help, role model for Trey Lance. And I thought that was interesting. I thought, well, maybe they've had a better relationship than many of us thought if he's willing to come back and work with Shanahan again.
They're going to throw everything at him. I remember one time Mike sat me down and had a 20-word play ready for me in the first practice, and they just sat there and wanted to see if I could spit out every single one of those words and then actually go run the play against a defense led by London Fletcher, one of the best linebackers ever. So I'm excited for him. I think it'll be great. And to be honest with you, I don't think they have a guy on the roster that will be better situated than myself to come in and mentor the kids. So who knows? Maybe there's a reunion in store with the Shanahans.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. Hey, maybe he's shooting his shot. Might work, might not.
Gotta try.
Yeah, you got to try. The answer is no if you don't ask. Drea, what were your initial thoughts of the draft, and who would you say you're most excited about not named Trey Lance? Because obviously we're all stoked about him.
I was, going into it, I had this very strong sense of relief, and I don't want that to be a criticism of Mac Jones or anything. It just didn't make sense to me, all of those rumors, the trade to go up for a player like that, and then even what he is capable of doing, and he could be a perfectly good quarterback in the NFL. So it's not anything about that. It was just the magnitude of the move and what it meant for this franchise. I was very relieved to hear that it was Trey Lance. Beyond Trey Lance, I'll say the other Trey, because I watched so much Ohio State last year that seeing Trey Sermon really caught me off guard, because I just thought, I didn't know they were going running back, and certainly not where they went running back. But I'm excited to see what Trey Sermon can do, and adding some of that physicality to the offense, a nice compliment for Raheem. And so I'm definitely excited to see that. And I'm sure you guys saw the clip of Lenore with the interception. I want to see what that guy can do too. Secondary needs help.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm definitely an Ambry Thomas guy because I'm a Michigan fan, but I'm excited to see him. He opted out. One of the things that's really been reported on within the last couple of days with the players reporting, Jimmy looks a little thicker. Now, I'm a healthcare professional, so I personally think that he's kind of bulking up to try to, protect himself from some of those injuries. What do you make of that? And really, does Jimmy leave San Francisco with a whimper or a bang?
I think the best case scenario for everybody is for Jimmy to play, and to play at a high level, right? Jimmy, I believe Jimmy deserves a starting role in the NFL, and that he is a good, serviceable starter in this league. So I would like to see him stay healthy and have that chance. I think that Trey Lance, with his development, gives the 49ers a better chance over, the long term. But Jimmy playing well, and more importantly, staying healthy, gives the Niners the best chance on this trade, whatever it's going to eventually be. So I'm hoping that he goes out there and balls out, and that's the happy problem that they are dealing with, rather than trying to figure out or putting Trey in too early or any of those things. I did see a lot of people commenting on Jimmy reporting to OTAs and everything like that. To me, he just looks like Jimmy. And so I'm excited to see what he does with all of this. I don't know, all of the rumors, all of the things. Jimmy's used to it being in New England and all of the drama that was going on there. So I'm very interested to see what this brings out of him.
Yeah, it's kind of full circle for him in that regard. And I think we'd all ideally like to see Trey Lance get the Patrick Mahomes treatment where he comes in week 18 because we've sewn the thing up. I think that would be ideal for his development too. Another question I got for you regarding the schedule, where do you see, one, the 49ers' toughest stretch, and two, where could you see Trey Lance maybe Jimmy's not doing the best, or heaven forbid he gets another injury. Where do you see the most ideal spot for Trey Lance to maybe come in and take over the starting role?
Yeah, let me pull it up really quick because I was looking over this recently. I think the first, 5 games you go Lions, Eagles, Packers, Seahawks, Cardinals. That to me seems, barring anything crazy happening in training camp or, Trey goes in and starts getting more reps with the ones and all of that. That to me sounds like all Jimmy territory. It's so hard to predict though with the injuries. And that has really been the thing that's holding him back. I mean, just like you said, an ideal situation is that Trey Lance can play in week 18 because the Niners have played so well. They didn't need to go to him beforehand, but who knows if that's possible. I think this stretch after the bye, particularly with the bye week coming so early in this new 17-game schedule, coming back from the bye and then having to go Colts, Bears, Cardinals, Rams, that seems like a difficult little stretch. We'll see how the Colts look with Carson and everything, and Fields, I would imagine, is going to be the settled in starter at that point in Chicago. Yeah. And so that will be interesting. And the Cardinals, have gone out and signed so many free agents, some vets to try and beef up their team. So we'll see what happens. I think that 4 to 5 week span is probably the most difficult.
Yeah. I think we're all we'd be really excited to see that Trey Lance, Justin Fields matchup in Windy City, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, that might be kind of solidified as far as who's under center, but the reports coming out in the last day or so that they might have a new receiver. If you put any weight into these reports that the 49ers are a potential trade candidate for Julio Jones, what do you make of this? And do I go buy a Julio Jones 49ers jersey right now?
Go get the customized one already, the 11. Is 11 open on the 9? Oh, no, Ayuk. You'd have to get a new number. Yeah, the Julio Jones rumors. I do like that the Niners are just involved in all of this now. Every quarterback, Niners. Every wide receiver, Niners. So it is fun to be a fan right now of this team. And it's coming from a place of respect for the team, that they're one piece away, or all they need is this. And so the Julio Jones rumors, I think there is something to the fact that Shanahan would want him, and it's clearly a need on this team, and Julio would provide something. I mean, Julio's an absolute freak of nature, but his skill set in particular is so different from what Debo can do and so different from what Ayuk could do. It would be incredible to bring him on. There is, some stuff about, I believe he's 32 or will be 32 going into this year. So maybe there's something about that salary and coming in at that age, but I think I would quickly get over that if Julio Jones were to be coming to the Niners. I'd get over that real quick. I'd be like, whatever, money, get rid of it.
It seems expensive. I think it could work if, they know real quickly that Trey Lance is ready to go and they can afford to jettison Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. That kind of eases that up. And I'm 100% sure that if Julio Jones came here, Brandon Ayuk is giving up 11 to Julio Jones for sure. My question is, with the Julio Jones rumors and we start thinking about salaries and things like that, does Fred Warner get paid?
Ooh, I know. I've seen, because last offseason me and Zach were talking about Kittle, and it was all the pay George Kittle, and I'm starting to see the rumblings. Yes, I believe he does. There's a couple things that probably need to get ironed out, though, that Jimmy contract being a big part of it. That, if I'm happy that Jimmy's on the team. I think it gives Trey a lot of wiggle room, but there's no denying that contract, and that's why they had to ask Jed York for his approval to say that, yeah, we're going to carry $26 million into this year, knowing that we're drafting a quarterback. So I think there's an open acknowledgement that is a little bit of a hindrance salary cap wise. And so, yes, I do think that Fred will get paid, but it might take longer than people are comfortable with.
Okay. And he's waiting on, man, the name's slipping. There's another middle linebacker that's about to get paid.
Darius Leonard.
Yeah.
Oh,
from the
Colts.
Colts. Leonard from the Colts. I think that might play a part in it.
Yeah, because and Darius Leonard is a really, really good player. I think that Fred is better. So yeah, maybe you're waiting around to get the highest salary.
Absolutely. Do you think the franchise tag could come into play if they don't get something done?
Oh, because then it would probably be based off of Darius Leonard, right? And that whatever does end up happening. Yeah, I think you would have to consider it for a player of Fred Warner's caliber. If you're talking about an all-pro, then yeah, it would be uncomfortable. High teens, maybe. I don't know what that figure is right now for a middle linebacker, but I think for a guy like Fred Warner, a guy that you drafted and it's like in-house, that it would be worth it.
I think so too. Fred's like my favorite 49er right now, so
he's awesome.
I'd love to see him hang around.
Definitely.
I'm going to do some rapid fire questions and then we'll wrap this up. You can answer again as little as many words you like. First question: who throws more touchdowns this year, Jimmy G or Trey Lance?
Jimmy G.
Okay. All right. Will the 49ers?
Everybody put money on Trey Lance because I am a world-renowned jinx. So take everything, do the opposite.
Okay, all right. We'll take that into consideration.
Yep, you heard it here first. Drea's
exactly.
saying the 49ers are finishing last place.
Exactly. I'll try and reverse psychology the universe on this one.
That's funny. That's actually my next question. Will they still be in playoff contention when the last quarter of the season rolls around?
Yes.
Okay, I like it. Confident.
Oh, no. Yes, no, I feel really good about the team and especially about the schedule and how it looks. So
awesome. 2021 49ers MVP will be.
2021 MVP. I'll go Fred. I think that's a safe bet.
Fair. Yeah, that's a good bet. Yep. Now this one's kind of fun and it's going to make you think. Would you rather never attend a 49ers game again or only be able to attend them at Lumen Field in Seattle, sitting on their home side?
Oh, I think I would be kicked out of that stadium. They'd have like a wanted poster up. I wouldn't be allowed back. So that's probably not a safe choice. So I either can't go to Levi, I can never go to a game again, or every single game's got to be in Seattle.
Yep.
I guess I'm going to Seattle. We'll see how long I have a pass to get in there. I can hold my own, going back and forth, so it'll be fine.
I love it.
Good answer.
Drea Blackwell, KSBW, thank you so much for joining us. That was a blast.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, make sure you guys go follow her. Her handle's below on the screen.
And we always love having you here. Until next time, guys, go Niners.